Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Journey to Happy and Beyond. My name is Sharon Vieira, and I wanted to talk today about something that's recently inspired me. So I have a lot of people that ask me how I'm happy all the time. I'm not happy all the time. I'm human. I experience every emotion, as we all should, but I do tend to be a happier person who is smiley throughout the day. And a lot of people ask me how I can be so happy. So, a big thing that has been a shift for me is perspective. Perspective is so much, right? It's the way that we view the world, as well as the people and the things within it. And I wanted to talk a little bit about shifting perspective today. And I'd like to start with talking about a personal experience that I recently had. So a few months ago, I was door dashing, which I just do on the side for a little bit extra. And someone backed up a one-way into an intersection and hit my car. So, of course, the person was very frazzled, very sorry and upset, and I immediately was coming into this like, oh, it's okay, you have insurance, I have insurance, everything is going to be fine, everyone is okay. So come to find out that because I was door dashing, I wasn't covered under my insurance. I didn't realize that you needed a very specific type of insurance to be covered while you're doing something like that. They call it livery. And of course, I still had the girl's insurance, but she had very minimal coverage. She only had a $5,000 deductible. And I was like, what am I going to do? But instead of... So my car was still drivable. The door didn't really close completely all the way. So like if it rained, I would get wet, all those, it's snowing. There's a little bit of snow in my car. But rather than getting caught up on all those little things, my brain, when I got into the accident, went straight to how this was actually a blessing in disguise. And at face value, it's definitely not. But when I was looking at the situation, I recognized that, whoa, I wasn't covered under my insurance. Thank God this lady hit me and I didn't hit somebody else. Imagine if I was door dashing, thinking I'm covered under my policy, which, side note, I've obviously changed insurances now, so I'm covered no matter what. But if I had been door dashing thinking that I'm covered under my insurance, when come to find out I'm not, and I was at fault for the accident, imagine how much money I would have had to come up with, not just for my car, but for their car, or any hospital bills if they tried coming after me for those things. So I was so grateful that this happened, because imagine I could be out thousands of dollars. I could have hit a Tesla. I don't know. It could have been so much worse, if that didn't happen that way at that time. And on another note, I also had a very old vehicle. It's gonna sound so silly, but I was almost waiting for somebody to hit my car. So the car had 267,000 miles on it. I was just waiting to run it into the ground. It was a Toyota, so I figured that's what you do with Toyotas. But that person backed into me at a very inconvenient time to show me to teach me these lessons and these things. So moral of the story, very grateful that had happened to me, even though, like I said, at face value, that seems very negative. And when you start to do this kind of shift in your life, from things happening to you to things happening for you, wow, what a life changer. If you start realizing that things aren't happening to me, I'm not the victim here, but things are happening for me to open doors, to change pathways, to give me more time. Or, there's so many options. It's infinite. So many possibilities. And when I'm talking about these things, because I remember years and years ago when people would try to tell me something similar to this, I'd be like, okay, that's really wonderful that you can think that way, but I don't think that you understand my situation. My situation is so unique and different. I have this happening to me, this, that, and the other, and I don't know how you could possibly think that's positive. So, not everything that's going to happen to you is going to be positive, but it's going to happen for a reason. So I'm going to throw out another little example here. I also know somebody who had a spouse with cancer. And, that was she loved him so much. She took so much care of him. So much time and effort went into everything she did. Everything was about him. She really did everything she possibly could. She loved and supported him the whole way through. When he did pass from cancer, of course, she was very, very, very upset. And that stayed with her for a bit. But she also started to realize, wow, I have a little bit more time on my hands now. What do I even do with myself? I just don't even know where to go from here. And she started to realize that though she would have never wanted her spouse to die, she would have never ever wanted that or ever chose that for herself, his passing also allowed for her to really find herself and really to become who she was meant to be. Not necessarily consumed by things that she had to do, but things that she wanted to do now. What did she want to explore? Now, of course, she also could have remained stuck in a pattern of feeling sorry for herself and how could this ever happen to her? And I can't see why God would do something like this, because she was a religious person. But instead, she decided to look at the things that this event was now opening up for her and allowing her to do, which was so powerful. Again, this doesn't make this a positive situation. It's not a great thing that when somebody passes away. It's a very, very difficult and hard time, and 100%, as far as I know, every time you'd always want them back. But sometimes, even things like that, you can still find the positives. Somebody cheating on you seems like such a horrible, negative situation, but when you can stop to think about it sometimes, you can be grateful that you didn't waste more time with somebody that really wasn't there for you the same way that you were there for them. That you can now focus on you, and that you didn't have to have all those worries anymore, or whatever it might be. I can almost guarantee you that there's something positive that is going on and that's happening. What lens are you looking at the world through? Are you grateful for the things that are happening around you? And the reason that I started with some negative stuff, and I use negative as very, very loosely here. I should say negative at face value, right? Something that someone just tells you a situation, you're gonna assume that it's negative. Is because a lot of times it's very easy to feel grateful for the things that are going well in our life, the things that we want to happen. We're like, oh yes, I'm so happy this is happening. Some people aren't there yet either, and that's something that's important to notice too. All those little things that we have that are so wonderful happening to us, be grateful for them. Wow, I got out of the house on time today. Look at me, this is great. I'm not stressed out driving. Start really appreciating yourself. Start really being grateful for your life. There's so much our life has to give us. We have these arms and these limbs and these feet and these hands, and we can do so many things. And there's so much abundance where we live. We're so lucky to be in these bodies living this experience. Like, I can't say that enough. And again, this exuberance about life has definitely come to me, not instantly, but with work. It didn't happen right away. Like I told you in my intro video, I used to struggle with a lot of different things, but that shift in perspective has changed the world for me. And I'm going to want to tell you guys about my favorite quote, which is pretty cliche, but there's a reason things are cliche, right? It's because they're really good and people repeat them for that reason. So my favorite quote, one of my favorite quotes is, "You can complain because roses have thorns, or you can rejoice because thorns have roses." So stop and process that for a second. What are you looking at and noticing a thorn when you could just stop and be appreciative of the rose? And I really would like to end off on that today, because I think that is so powerful. The shift in perspective will change your life. Sometimes it takes a little bit of work and effort. If you're feeling stuck somewhere, in yoga, we like to call them flow friends. Call that friend that's there for you, not just to agree with you and so not from an ego standpoint, but call somebody that's really going to help you see the good. Call your flow friend. If you don't have a flow friend, find a flow friend. And if you're local, I am not being paid to say this, but I highly recommend finding your community of people. And mine just happened to be at Power and Grace Yoga in New Bedford. Amazing community. Find your community. Maybe you don't do yoga. Maybe you're not into that. Find your heart-based and heartfelt community, and really connect with your people. So yes, I'm going to leave you off on that today. And I want you to also think about shifting your perspective from things are happening to me to, okay, this is happening for me. And start exploring that and see where it goes. I hope that some of you took something out of this and this really helped somebody today. I know that changing my perspective has literally changed my world, and I'm so appreciative and grateful for it. So I really look forward to seeing you guys next time. Please feel free to reach out to me on my Facebook page, my Instagram that I just recently created, my YouTube channel. I do have my email listed on there, so please feel free to reach out to me with any questions, anything that you want to see coming. But I really look forward to journeying to happy and beyond with you. And I would also like to end off on this note. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. That means may all beings be happy and free, and may our lives be a source and contribution to that happiness and freedom for all, including ourselves. Please don't forget about yourself. Have a great day, guys.